Strive breaks into the top 10 public Bitcoin holders. After buying 13,628 BTC in 6 months, Vivek Ramaswamy's Strive, NASDAQ, ASST, has entered the top 10 public corporate Bitcoin holders after adding 317 BTC last week, bringing its total to 13,627.9 BTC. The company, which went public just 6 months ago, has accumulated its entire position since September 2025, making it one of the fastest corporate Bitcoin buildups on record. The milestone comes alongside Q4 2025 earnings that paint a rougher picture, a $393.6 million net loss, driven largely by a $194.5 million unrealized decline in the fair market value of its Bitcoin holdings, and $140.8 million in goodwill impairments from the Semler Scientific acquisition. Bitcoin traded at $70,919 as of March 20, 2026, with the Fear and Greed Index sitting at 33, Fear. 13,028 BTC in 6 months. Strive's Bitcoin accumulation speed is notable, even in a market where corporate treasury strategies have become common. The company built its entire 13,628 BTC position, currently valued at roughly $966 million, between September 2025 and March 2026. For context, Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, took over 4 years to cross the same threshold. The latest purchase of 317 BTC cost approximately $23 million, or about $72,555 per coin, a price close to current spot levels. That purchase was enough to leapfrog both CleanSpark and Tesla in the public company Bitcoin rankings. Strive funded its buying spree through a combination of IPO proceeds, follow-on offerings, and a structured finance instrument called SATA, a variable rate perpetual preferred stock trading on NASDAQ. 2 SATA offerings in November 2025 raised $148 million, followed by a $109 million follow-on in January 2026, for a total of roughly $257 million in capital specifically directed toward Bitcoin acquisition. The Q4 numbers tell a different story. The headline number is stark: $393.6 million in net losses for Q4 2025. But the breakdown matters. The largest component, $194.5 million, came from unrealized declines in Bitcoin's fair market value. Bitcoin fell from roughly $126,000 in late 2025 to around $72,000 by year-end, dragging Strive's paper position down with it. Another $140.8 million came from goodwill and intangible asset impairments tied to the Semler Scientific acquisition, a medical device company Strive absorbed as part of its transformation into a Bitcoin treasury vehicle. On an adjusted basis, the loss was $28.2 million, or $4.73 per diluted share. CEO Matthew Cole framed the quarter around long-term positioning. The most important was cementing our foundation as a structured finance company laser-focused on digital credit. The unrealized loss mirrors a broader pattern among corporate Bitcoin holders. MetaPlanet, Japan's public BTC accumulator, disclosed a $1.2 billion unrealized loss in February, while simultaneously raising $531 million for more purchases. The playbook is the same: raise capital, buy Bitcoin, absorb paper losses, wait. From anti-ESG advisor to Bitcoin vehicle, Strive's transformation is one of the stranger corporate pivots in recent memory. Ramaswamy founded the company in 2022 as an anti-ESG investment advisor, managing index funds designed to push back against environmental and social governance mandates in corporate America. That thesis attracted political attention and media coverage during Ramaswamy's 2024 presidential campaign. The pivot to a Bitcoin treasury company happened fast. By mid-2025, Strive had restructured, acquired Semler Scientific for its cash flow and public listing status, and rebranded as a structured finance company centered on Bitcoin accumulation. The IPO in September 2025 was explicitly designed to fund Bitcoin purchases. The strategy borrows directly from Strategy's Michael Saylor playbook. Use public market access to raise capital at scale, convert that capital into Bitcoin, and let the stock trade as a leveraged proxy for BTC exposure. Strive's stock, ASST, gives institutional investors who cannot hold Bitcoin directly a way to gain exposure through traditional equity markets. Where Strive sits in the rankings. At 13,628 BTC, Strive now ranks approximately 10th among public corporate Bitcoin holders. The top of the list is dominated by Strategy, which holds over 761,000 BTC. Marathon Digital, Riot Platforms, and other mining companies fill the middle ranks. Strive's position is unusual because it is not a miner. Mining companies accumulate Bitcoin as a byproduct of their operations. Strive, like Strategy, buys on the open market using raised capital, a model that works only as long as investors keep funding the vehicle and Bitcoin's price cooperates over the medium term. The risk is straightforward. If Bitcoin stays flat or declines further, Strive's losses deepen and its ability to raise fresh capital through equity and preferred stock offerings gets harder. The company's entire value proposition depends on Bitcoin appreciating enough to offset dilution and capital costs. Institutional Bitcoin flows remain strong for now, with 81,200 BTC absorbed by institutions in February alone. But that demand is not guaranteed.